Hello, parents and guardians of all of my wonderful eighth graders. If you are getting this video, that means your eighth grader is in my math class, my pre-algebra class. And I just wanted to send you a quick video to give you an update of how my class works. So first of all, let's start with talking about pathways to mastery. This is a new way that we're going to be organizing our units in math class. We're pretty much doing this across the board in math. So if you have any students in like high school or elementary, they're pretty much doing math pathways also. So we give this pathway thing gives the kids a personal choice of the activities that they want to do, and also it makes them have responsibility for their learning because they have to keep an order of whatever, or not have to keep an order, but they are very much organized in what they're doing, and they know what they're expected to do. So every pathway consists of video lessons and notes that they will go along with the video. It's going to be me teaching or the other math teacher that we have at the junior high teaching. We also will work on math workshops. So after they do the video, they come to me in a small group setting for kind of one-on-one, like more like tutorials where I really get to work closely with them. It makes things more personal and not so kind of whole class when we get to do it this way. After that, they'll be working on independent practices about the topic that we just discussed or learned, and then we'll be working on spiral reviews throughout those pathway packets. Those are things that we have taught already, or they already should know, and they're just kind of reviewing. And then lastly, there's choice activities, which are the activities that go along with this pathway, this topic, that they get the choice to kind of choose out of a list of activities. They get to choose what they want to do, because sometimes kids work better on technology, sometimes kids work better with arts and crafts, sometimes the kids like moving around the room and others don't. So it kind of gives them a choice of what they rather do. So here's an example of Unit 1 pathway. This is your students' Unit 1 pathway. There's two pathways to Unit 1. We actually have finished both of them now. This one was the first week, pathway 1A, and this one was the week that we were virtual. So here's kind of a quick rundown of what they look like. Up here, you'll see the days listed out for what we will be working on. It kind of keeps them organized on what we're doing. We have these two sections up here where we have a video lesson and a math workshop. They'll be checking the stuff down along the way. Then we had the next lesson where it was roots and pi approximation. They had another, it was kind of like a spiral review. Then the independent practices. These are where the student practices the skill that they just learned independently. So it's kind of like homework. These are things that if they don't finish, they will have to take it home to work on. But most of the time they will have, if they kind of time manage correctly, they'll have time in class to work on this stuff. And then we have these menu board activities down here on the pathways. These are the things that they get to choose from. So what's going to happen is these points on the outside here are going to add up to 100 somehow, some way, and they have to kind of make sure that it adds up to 100. Up here are the non-negotiable. Basically, they have to do these points no matter what, and then whatever is left, they finish off with these points over here until they get to 100. Extra credit is very much awarded. It's awarded in math classroom store. So encourage your student to work on more than they actually have to. All right, so let's give a quick look at our Google Classroom, because Google Classroom will be used a lot when we're everywhere, in school or virtual. So I'm going to just show you guys what my Google Classroom looks like and what your students will look like too. So whenever you are in Google Classroom, because you find Google, you would go here to these little dots, and then Classroom is right here. That is how you get to this page that I'm on now. These are my classes, so you'll be able to find your students' pre-algebra math class. You'll click on it, and it'll open up to the class. It should open up to the stream page. If it's not opened up to the stream page, go ahead and click on stream, and you will be able to see all of my announcements for, mostly it was the week that we were virtual. If I ever have students that are virtual, I will be posting in here. And what happens is the stream is where I am showing you and telling you what is expected. And then the classwork tab is the tab that shows you what your actual tasks are. So you won't really know the directions and the things that you need to know if you don't actually read the announcements from the stream page. Okay, so that's something important that I tell my students, which they've been doing pretty good at kind of getting that down and making sure that they we had a good turnout this virtual session. So since we were virtual and we just did the last pathway virtually, when we come back on Tuesday, I will be going over kind of making sure that we had everything that we needed to. We were able to find what we needed to, making sure just kind of like a catch-up day. So grading, some things that I want to talk about with grading is we have an overall pathway grade. These are grades that you're going to be finding in like Skyward. So you'll have an overall pathway grade, which was what all those points added up to be like a 100. And then you're going to have these independent practices. Each one has an individual grade. And then the pathway quiz, which will be found at the end of the pathway. It's not a part of that like paper because they're going to get that in a whole packet. Remember, and then the unit test, it will be in a grade as well. So I just wanted you to be aware of the type of grades that you'll be seeing. Any late work, I kind of do, this is how I do my late work in my class. 10 points off each day that something is late. And the pathways should really help us kind of stay organized and pay attention to the due dates, because the students are able to work ahead. Students are able to kind of pace things the way they want to with these pathway lists. And I will have a 0 in the grade book until work is turned in for me. That's what it will look like. And let's talk about absent work real quick. If a student is absent, I will give them kind of like an extra day to work on whatever they missed. But they will be responsible for watching any of those lesson videos by themselves. They'll have to remember that they have to watch those videos in order to continue working, because that's their lesson. They won't understand the work if they didn't actually get the lesson. And so if we are ever virtual again, or if a student is virtual and everybody else is in person just because of different like quarantine options and stuff like that, everything is going to be loaded into Google Classroom. All of my announcements, everything that we will need is going to be loaded into there, kind of letting them know what to expect and what is going on in class. And so if you have any questions at all throughout the day, my email is always pulled up on my computer. So just send me a quick email, mgarza@conley.org. That is my quickest way of communication if you ever need me. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, guys.